You're listening to The Jacob Valk Show. He's breaking down the latest and greatest in sports as only he can. Follow him on Twitter at RealJacobValk. Here he is, Jacob Valk.
Hello, sports fans! Welcome to another edition of the Jacob Valk Show. I am Jacob Valk, and we all know what I'm going to talk about today. I'm going to talk about the Texans letting Jonathan Joseph walk. No. In all seriousness, this really isn't the time for humor. The coronavirus is a real threat. And look, a couple days ago, I thought that it was being overblown. I still think it's being overblown a little bit. But it's gotten to the point where real action needs to be taken. When you have the President of the United States shutting down all flights from Europe for 30 days, excluding the United Kingdom, yeah, that's a pretty good cue for sports leagues to take notice and say, alright, maybe we should do a couple things. And the NBA narrowly missed a major issue with Rudy Gobert. Thank God that doctor had the presence of mind to sprint across the arena, realize that this guy had the coronavirus, and told people, hey, we gotta get out of here, we've gotta evacuate, we have to, do what we need to do. Follow the protocol. Otherwise, that could have been a really, really scary situation. The NBA had no choice but to suspend their season. They made the right decision. There's no question. When you have a player, now two, with Donovan Mitchell, infected with the coronavirus, you cannot expect other players to play with them or against them. You cannot put the players at risk like that. I understand that it's not a death sentence, but you still can't put the players at risk like that. You wouldn't want them playing with them or against them if they had the flu or the cold. And then the NHL took their proactive measure to suspend their season, which I don't know how the NHL is going to be able to recover from that. That's tough. Because realize, you're going to have baseball at some point. You're going to have basketball starting back up. I don't know how hockey's going to be able to recover from that. I know why Bettman did it. I don't mind that Bettman did it. It's just going to be really difficult for the NHL to recover from that. And baseball, to be honest with you, I think should suspend their season also. I just think there are too many moving parts with California, Washington State, and New York limiting public gatherings. This thing is spreading like wildfire. In the past 2 or 3 days, the number of cases in the U.S. has almost doubled. I did not expect that. I don't think anyone expected that. There's a time and a place for sports. This probably isn't it. Now, I understand personal responsibility. And look, I stand by the fact that if you're an at-risk person, just don't go to the games. And if you're sick, just don't go to the games. I think that stops a lot of the issues. But having said that, when the NBA has a player, a prevalent player, and let's face it, Gobert is, and Mitchell's a star. When they have two guys on the same team test positive for the coronavirus, other sports are going to take notice. And they're going to make proactive decisions to protect their players. Now, you have to applaud the leagues for putting health before money. I really, really hope that the owners step up and provide for the stadium employees, because they're paid hourly. They need to work to make ends meet. And let's be honest, they're not making a lot of money. It's probably minimum wage, maybe a little bit more. I don't know if they get benefits. They're in a union, I know that, or at least some of them are. They need to be provided for. I applaud Mark Cuban for stepping up and saying he's going to provide for the Mavs people and the people at their stadium. Every other owner in the NBA, the NHL, and the MLB, the MLS, any European soccer league you want, whoever, should take notice and should provide for them. Mark Cuban said that they may be asked to do volunteer hours in exchange for it. I don't even like that. Just give them their money. Don't ask them for anything else. Just give them their money. The real question is going to be, will March Madness even happen? As it stands right now, as I'm recording this, they are slated to play all games without fans. But, having said that, Kansas and Duke have both said that they will not play in March Madness. How can you have March Madness when two of the best eligible teams aren't going to play? There is a real chance that the tournament gets shut down. Or at the very least postponed. I don't even know how you can do that. These are uncharted waters. The only thing that even comes close to this is 9/11. But even then, 9/11, there was a sense of, we knew when it would be okay to play again. We knew that there wasn't going to be an attack like that every day, or every week, or every month. With this, we don't know. We don't know when there won't be new cases. We don't know when there won't be any more deaths. I'd love to tell you that I know what's going to happen. I don't. I have no idea when the seasons are going to start up again. I don't even know if the NBA and the NHL are going to have the regular season anymore. They just may decide to go right to the playoffs. If they resume in April, how far back can you push the NBA playoffs and the NHL playoffs? Those arenas make other arrangements for concerts and other events. It's not just, like these arenas reserve a bunch of dates for these leagues. No, they make other plans for the summer. Look, all I know is my grandmother has a saying, it's never been more true, this too shall pass. This is not going to cause the end of the world. We don't need to panic. We need to remain calm. We need to come together as a nation, as people, as brothers and sisters. Help the people that need it. If you know someone who's immunocompromised or is elderly and that person is scared to death to get the groceries they need, to get the medicine they need, get it yourself. If there was ever a time for this nation to come together, for this planet to come together, it's now. This is not the right time for sports. This is the time for brotherhood and sisterhood. Again, in my personal opinion, I do think that nothing terrible would have happened if we had kept the games going. But when an NBA player to actually get infected with this, yeah, that requires drastic measures. If there's one thing that you should take away from this, it's that sports comes second. Sports is a distraction to life. I'm a big fan of American Dad, and there was an episode when the Smiths were at a Bazooka Sharks game, an Arena Football League game. And the quarterback was named Johnny Concussion. And Steve saw Concussion wandering around the arena. He was in a daze. And Steve got him to safety. And Steve didn't understand why he was being ostracized so much. The entire town turned against him. And he ended up shipping himself to some deserted island with only indigenous people there. Then at the end of the episode, he realized it. Sports is a distraction to the rat race. You work 9 to 5. You get home after a long day of work. You eat dinner. You pay bills. And then you forget your troubles for a few hours. And then you go to sleep and you do it all over again. We need those few hours of just forgetting life. I can't tell you how many times I've had bad things happen to me in life, but I knew I had a sporting event to watch to take my mind off it. Unfortunately, we don't have that luxury anymore. For the foreseeable future, anyway. This isn't the right time for sports. It's just not. I can't blame these decisions. I do think that the threat is being drastically overblown, but at the end of the day, there's nothing I can do. We just have to accept it. We'll move past it. And my sock drawer needs to be rearranged anyway. You may be asking yourself how this is going to affect this show. Firstly, I highly encourage you to follow me on Twitter at RealJacobValk. That's where I post show updates. I posted one today, so go check it out. Just to give you the Cliff Notes version, I'm having some technical difficulties with the Paul Logothetis interview, and it may not be up until tomorrow or the week after next. I don't know. I'm in contact with the people that I need to be in contact with about it, but at the end of the day, there's nothing more I can do. I feel bad about it. I really, really do. Paul, if you're listening, I'm really sorry. And to you, the listener, I deeply apologize. So tomorrow, even if there is an interview, I'm going to do a big NFL free agency preview. I'm going to go in depth on the big free agents and where I think they're going to go, how much they're going to get. Next week, God only knows what's going to happen. As it stands right now, March Madness is still a go. So, if it's still going to happen, the schedule that I outlined previously will still be in effect. If not, then check back on Twitter at RealJacobValk for an updated schedule. Alright, I think that's it. If you have any other questions, please tweet at me at RealJacobValk. Until tomorrow, I am Jacob Valk saying that it's a long, long way to Tipperary.